right, we're ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh!
Woof.
You're tuned into the Wolfsten podcast, and welcome back to Anime Monday.
Anime Monday, animation with balls. So crazy, it has to be drawn. A steaming pile of awesome. Anime Monday, just effing watch.
And welcome to Pride Month. It's June, so yeah, we're finally getting to this topic instead of, being trapped in the town that shall not be named.
You're never gonna let go of that, are you? Every fucking June, there's gonna be a reference.
Oh yeah, no.
Higurashi
there it
will
is.
never leave. It will always be with us.
Oh yeah. And of course for our listeners, just a heads up, throughout this month, outside of these specific episodes, I will be re-releasing the entirety of Higurashi Month, since that is no longer available to the public. I want to change that. I want to spread the insanity, especially since we are getting a new series.
And then Higurashi will be back.
Yes.
But only for 1 month.
Yes. With me, of course, is the lovely Xeiren.
Hello.
And the equally as lovely Graveturtle.
Hello.
And today's topic is favorite gay anime. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot to bring to this table, but we'll work with that as we get going. So, as the experience has gone in my life, ladies, what do you got to share with me on this topic?
Well, a definite favorite would have to be Revolutionary Girl Utena. Because
Yeah.
it's got everything. It has absolutely everything in it. And a good plot, too.
And a heavy dose of surrealism, just for sprinkles.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to watch a postmodern anime where, everything is symbolic, absolutely everything is symbolic and can be interpreted in, a bajillion different ways, Revolutionary Girl Utena has that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Although, to be frank, while Utena is one of those pinnacle series where everything is symbolic and so on and so forth, like she said, just be wary that, because there is this tendency in older anime that tackles this topic, that it won't just tackle one thing that was considered a taboo topic that needed to change, but it'll throw some other things in there for weirdness as well. Like sibling worship. And incest.
Well, everything is deconstructions of common tropes that you see in a lot of other animes.
Yes, this is true. So just be wary if you don't like those things associated with your gay in your anime, that these things are there, but they're there with good reason. They actually serve the plot, not just to be, weird for the sake of weird.
Yeah, nothing is there just purely for shock value. Everything has a reason to be there. And for as much as it explains anything, it does explain why those things are there or why those characters became that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Honestly, even though Utena itself is its own weird, anime that probably will be talked about at great length with its own episode someday, I will say that I think out of all of them that are going to get brought up in today's episode, it's probably the most accessible, just because it has a lot of, well, frankly, old school charm to it, as well as a banging soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Visuals to just, keep your mind, just absolutely a flutter with it all.
The animation, for as old as it is still absolutely gorgeous. The soundtrack is absolutely amazing. Even if you don't watch the series and you can get your paws on the soundtrack, listen to it. It's really, really good. And if you decide to give the anime a try, don't start with the movie. Start with the TV series.
That's always my biggest piece of advice as well, is read the manga or watch the series first, because otherwise there's just these gaping holes of which you're just expected to know the relationships between characters in the film and know parts of their history. And if you don't know those things, you're like, why is so-and-so talking to so-and-so? What is their name? Why are they here? Oh my God, what's happening? So basically, the movie has a lot of shorthand for shit you're just already supposed to know.
Yeah, and the movie is even more out there and symbolic and in the land of surreal and in the land of metaphor than the TV series is. At one point, Utena, she gets pulled into a car wash and comes out the other end as a race car, and you're like, I don't remember this from the TV series. And you're just like, okay. But the TV series makes a lot more sense when compared to the movie. It actually does take its time to explain things. And periodically, in the episodes, there will be these scenes where these girls are acting out like a shadow play. Don't disregard those scenes as nonsense, because they actually are explaining through their little puppet shows what the current themes are and what's going on. So if you feel a bit lost, you can always pay attention to those scenes, and you'll be like, oh, that's what they're trying to talk about.
Yeah, ostensibly they're the narrators. But
to give people an idea, because Utena is kind of an old series and you might not have heard of it, basically, Revolutionary Girl Utena is about a girl named Utena. And basically, when she was a young girl, she was saved by a prince. And she was so impressed by this prince, rather than falling in love with him, in most fairy tale-like stories, she decided, you know what, he's so awesome, he's so cool, he's so amazing, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be a prince someday and rescue princesses.
I want to be just like you.
And so that's kind of what sets Utena on the world. And, but it's basically about the people she meets in the school that she's at and how she wants to find the prince someday, but instead, ends up rescuing, the Rose Bride, and gets caught up in the series of duels that basically the school has an underground dueling club, and there's magic involved and crazy things.
And honestly, this is one of those shows you can literally show to anyone, even with all the themes it tackles, because the most pornographic thing that ever happens in it is uniform fetishism. Because good God, those uniforms. So perfect. So beautiful. It's insane.
Oh, let's not forget the Rose Bride's dress. I absolutely love that dress.
Again, uniform fetishism.
Her dress is so pretty.
Because it's literally the school uniform on steroids.
But it's in ball gown form, and it has shoulder tassels.
Exactly. Let's see. Moving on. I'll bring one up. So I know that at least in my experience, I feel like Graveturtle's had more sprinklings of both sides of the gay and lesbian side of anime. She's way more well versed than me. But I went through a phase And so mostly what I'm going to bring up is yaoi titles. I might as well just start off strong. Junjo Romantica and Sekaiichi Hatsukoi, I think is how it's pronounced. Yeah, these two sister series, oh my goodness. Just oh my goodness. They literally just follow the day in, day out lives of these random gay couples who apparently all happen to live in the same neighborhood and all have like, you know, characters related like as cousins or like family friends at some point. It's a weird universe when it all comes together, but they just tell very real stories about their lives where it's just like, oh, well, this guy winds up, you know, falling for his tutor, even though his tutor wound up having a crush on his older brother in the past. And, you know, all the ins and outs, like real life shit you got to deal with there. One is about a very intensely pursued, like, age gap relationship where one guy is like, what is it, like he's like 10 years younger than the guy he's going after, like who's in his 30s. But it's like the younger guy pursuing the older guy. And the older guy has no idea what to do with this intense young man. He's just like, would you stop following me? Like, your name, what's your name? Wait, doesn't that translate to typhoon? Yeah, I feel like you're following me with the strength and ferocity of a goddamn typhoon. There are certain segments and certain relationships in it that I don't favor, mostly because they're just really tropey and kind of unhealthy. Like one of the age gap relationships. Sorry. I haven't had any caffeine today.
I'm sorry. I can't go for you. Our wages are different. Our wages are too different. No, senpai, you must notice me.
But
I can't. You work for McDonald's.
I can't with you right now.
You need to write that script, Ookami. Write that script.
Yeah. Yes, I'll call it now. I will write that.
Senpai won't notice me because I work at McDonald's.
Oh my god, yeah, there's the new ridiculous long title. Like, why won't Senpai notice me? Is it because I work at McDonald's?
It's a light novel.
It's a light novel.
It's a light novel title. Senpai won't notice me because I have the wrong hair color and I work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
That was a weird tangent.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, Junjo Romantica and Hatsukoi, respectively, they literally have some of the best couples I've ever seen in the genre. The stories they tell, while very mundane, they're not very fantastical. It's very good looks and deep dives into these very, very gay relationships, but they're very, very slice of life at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the problems they go through are very normal and real. Like, at one point, he's like, oh God, actually, do I buy him flowers? Is it inappropriate to buy a guy flowers? And things like that. So, yeah, I was discussing with Graveturtle earlier in the week, what ones I was going to bring up. And this morning, I'm like, why didn't I think of these ones? These series are king. How did I forget these? And so, yeah, they're definitely a bitch to spell, but if you can spell Romantica and Junjo as Junjo, you will find out about Seikichi Hatsukoi just in the list, because they're sister series. You'll find out about the other one through the other. So
Yeah,
there's that.
I never got around to getting to those. I did actually know those names. As soon as you said them, I actually knew them.
Honestly, I think you would like them because they're very much they're very grounded works. They really are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to check them out. Honestly, I guess I should go ahead and bring some of my experience to the table, or lack thereof. So, I had a bit of experimental time during high school when I was hanging out with people who I never expected to have these, but had some rather gay manga that I had no idea. I didn't think about it at the time. One of them actually is how I discovered Loveless. Never got to finish it, but I do have to say I'm not exactly as comfortable bringing up Loveless because my ears.
Sorry, you said the magic word.
I honestly felt like looking back at it. Somebody else who has a far more experience in anime than I do would be Anime America. Check them out. She brought up how creepy Loveless can be. And yeah, I can agree to it. But, I mean, to each their own. I'm not going to condemn you for liking it.
Oh, trust me. I know, even at this stage in my life, that the squee of joy that happens every time somebody even brings up Loveless is the squee of guilty pleasure indulgence.
Oh, yeah.
That series is so over the top. And really the interesting thing about Loveless, at least from both my previous experience with it and my current experience with it, because I always go back to it. Mm-hmm. Yun Koga's works in general, and you see this a lot in Loveless, have a lot more to do with battling the psychology of what's expected of you versus who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole system within Loveless of having these pairs who are destined pairs, like soulmates, be this foundation for this society and for all of these interactions between these characters, and all of these characters, even within like the gay and both the gay and straight spectrums, they're considered normal. Mm-hmm. But where things get interesting is when you do get into our two main characters, Ritsuka and Sobi, as well as the zero units, because the zero units are fabricated. They are relationships that are literally fabricated by someone else. And because they themselves are fabricated beings. Mm-hmm. And so when you see that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and that even when one fabrication starts to break down and start losing its powers, but they still desperately care for the person that they were originally paired up with, but then again, also realizing that the other one, as the pair is breaking down, doesn't care as much anymore. Like, Loveless has a lot of nuance to it. And yes, there is the creep factor of the fact that Ritsuka's 12, Sobi is 20, and what the heck are these two doing, fighting as a pair? But even that, in a certain way, is, a fabrication brought on by Ritsuka's brother's death. These two are now literally forced by the situation to rely upon each other. And everybody keeps going like, oh, this is bad, this is terrible. But the entire series is about Ritsuka honestly being the more wise one, even at the age of 12, helping Sobi figure out who he is as a person and what they really mean to each other as a pair who rely upon each other. Does that mean some weird shit happens? Yeah, but it's about their journey. Whereas, like, Sobi's like, no, it's always been this way. It has to be this way. This is what I've been ordered to do. This is my role. This is this. This is this. And Ritsuka literally being the 12-year-old going like, you're fucking weird. Stop it. Like, what's wrong with you? And then realizing like, oh crap. Like, he was sent here to like protect and manipulate my life, but here I am, healing him.
Mm-hmm.
And then all that undue pressure that puts on a 12-year-old. And so while I would say there is a lot of gay themes that happen, especially with the other characters in the story, I wouldn't necessarily consider it's got some problems in it, similar to what I know Graveturtle is going to bring up at some point in the video. It's got some problematic elements to it on like Mirage of Blaze level, where it's just like, what am I even looking at? Why is this dynamic here? God, this makes me uncomfortable. But that's really the whole point, is that this very uncomfortable tension between these two men is what drives the story forward.
Mm.
And for anybody who's, curious about it, no actual Shota bullshit actually happens in Loveless. Get off my back.
It walks up to that line, but it does not cross it. I will give it that.
Because Ritsuka's like, no, what the fuck? And then Sobi's like, oh yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, no.
But then again, like Ookami ga Nai, it does the same thing, where it dances on that line because of the character designs. At least I think that's what it was. The name of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like,
it's one where like the guy looks like he's like 12, but he's actually like 20.
Like 20. But the Seme is so huge and buff, he looks like a 40-year-old man.
Well, to be fair, a lot of series do that, where you have like this giant refrigerator man, and then you have like the one who looks like
they could fit inside the giant man's thigh.
Yeah, where this guy's like biceps are bigger than the other guy's head, And
don't even get me started on the shoulder width differences in like 80s and early 90s.
Well,
anime.
Every series in the 80s had the giant shoulders.
I know, but it's like even like the little ukes, like they have these weird triangle bodies with the shoulder. Like seriously, it goes from 80 shoulder pads to the Seme, who constantly looks like he's hiding M. Bison's suit underneath his blazer. Like, Like, that's what I mean. It's just like, oh, one man already has giant shoulders, now the other man has to have gigantic shoulders. Linebackers be envious. Like,
No. They had shoulders you could fit a linebacker in.
Exactly. And and that's why I brought up Junjo Romantica and Hatsukoi first, because it's like, it's more modern, it's way more grounded in reality. Whenever you get into fantasy series like Loveless and one of my other favorites, Dramatical Murder,
I know of that one.
which somebody's going to comment to me at some point, like, isn't that a game? It got an anime adaptation. It was not the greatest, but it counts. Yes, it was a visual novel first, but then again, so was Fate Stay Night. Get off me.
I actually didn't realize that was oh yeah, it was a visual novel first. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was awkward as fuck for me, because I loved Fate Stay Night when we watched it way back when it first came out. And then somebody was like, "Oh, it's a visual novel first." I went, "Wait, with sex?" And they're like, "Yes." And I'm like, "How? That doesn't fit in the narrative very well." Apparently it's very forced in the visual novel as well.
Yeah. And that is one that we'll get to some point. I am unfortunately I'm actually being cautioned by a lot of people when every time I go like, yeah, no, we're gonna cover the Fate series at some point. They're like, why?
But that's only because it's become an over bloated thing as of late, because they've added so many spin-off series recently.
Well, they don't want to let that cash cow die.
No. It's just becoming so bloated. Everybody is just waiting for the giant fart to happen, and then they have the entire series shit the bed.
I mean, I want to cover that, and there's the other one, which actually I think has some elements of yaoi in it. God, what was it's the one that has the aliens who are they're actually destined to people, and you have to swap spit is how they're winged and they become yours. It's really weird series that is also involving like fights to the death. I'd have to look it up.
I don't know. I don't know this one. It sounds like a fever dream, which means it's probably good.
Actually, no. And this is another one that people are cautioning me on.
Oh, okay.
Because apparently it gets really out of hand.
Be cautioned about. Another one that I completely forgot about, and the only reason I have to caution this one is like, yes, this is rated X. Oh my god, you go looking for this one, you're gonna see some dick and balls.
Wait, are you talking about the one with the corn?
No! Why would I bring up Boku no Sexual Harassment right now?
I don't know. It's like you were talking about an explicit one, and that's the one that
I'm talking
people
about
always bring
sensitive
up.
pornograph.
Oh, that. Yes.
God, that I did not want to snort just now. My bad. I'm trying to bring up good titles. All the titles we were forced to watch back in the early 2000s because we had no other choice.
Well, I mean, anytime yaoi was brought up, that title usually someone would make a corny joke in there somewhere.
Well, it didn't help matters. That was back when anime, AMV Hell was like, king of everything, and they did the joke from fucking. Oh, I'm blanking on the name of the series now. I'm so mad. Aqua Team Hunger Force was like, "Gentlemen, I bring you corn."
Yes.
And they just did that fucking clip, and then everybody's like, "What the fuck's that from?" And then even your completely like straight hetero, your straight cis boyfriend knows all of a sudden what Boku no sexual harassment is because thanks. And then he finds it in your collection and wonders what the fuck is wrong with you. Or is that just me?
I think you had a unique experience
I
there.
think you had a very unique experience.
It was college. It was weird. But to be fair, the man was, for me in that experience, that man was obsessed with dot hack and had transformative furry porn. So he had no room to talk. Yeah, no, sensitive pornography. Yeah, this is porn. This is porn. But it's sweet, endearing porn. You know, these people actually like each other. They rely upon each other. It's graphic, but it's not rapey. So there. And if you can get your hands on the manga, I recommend that even more because it delves even deeper, because sensitive pornograph is literally 1.5 hour episode that covers 2 stories, or should I say 2 scenes, 2 chapters, if you will. The manga goes back and actually, expands on their relationships a bit more, even if it is just a single volume of manga. But yeah, the only thing I can really warn you about in sensitive pornograph is, lock your doors. Because even with censoring, it's very graphic. But I highly recommend it. And be wary of mentioning this one to ladies in their 30s. Because, we went through this problem when that first came out in the scene. It was everywhere. No one could stop talking about it. I've seen some women at anime conventions who are in my age bracket. I mention sensitive pornograph to them and they literally have a physical twitch in the eyelid when they hear those words. We had to help Graveturtle get rid of her twitch because it was pretty bad at one point because people could not shut up about it for 2 years almost.
It was like the title that everyone who reads and watched yaoi talks about. Probably because at that point, our selection was still very, very small with translated titles. And so the titles that were good, no one would shut up about because everything else was extremely slim pickings.
Yes. I feel like I should bring up one other yuri I actually know. And if you look it up, it's so stinking adorable. It's called a Sakura Trick. Have you heard of this one?
No.
Okay. So it's so silly and yet so kind of like aww of a premise. Basically, it's these 2 girls in middle school who they're like, oh man, we're really good friends, but how could we be better friends? Oh, we could kiss each other. That would make us really close friends. And it's just innocent kids not really knowing what the heck, is going on, like how people perceive that sort of thing, because children are innocent. But they wind up being in the same high school class together. And in order to get better at kissing and thinking like, oh yeah, if we're gonna get boyfriends and stuff like that, we should practice.
Uh-huh.
And then it just becomes this whole thing of like, wait a minute. Is this really practice or do we like each other? And then they start to fall in love And it's so stinking cute. It's so stinking cute. It's like, I can't help it. It's just it's a sweet anime. I really need to finish it someday, but it's so stinking adorable. And it's by far like they put a lot of emphasis on the kisses, where it's just like, oh, one kisses the other, and then everything goes to watercolors and so shoujo sparkles in the background, kind of like bing, ah, and all that silliness. But it really is just a sweet little romantic story of two girls who just kind of fall in love with each other completely unbeknownst to themselves.
By the way, so I have been searching this whole time. I did actually find that one because I know somebody would bring it up and somebody would say, oh, why couldn't you remember that name? It's Sekai. It's
the weird alien one?
Yeah, it's done by Square Enix. It was actually published by Square Enix.
Oh, that's why it doesn't make sense.
And the English publisher was Yen Press.
They would.
They totally would.
Yeah. Just real quickly, I'll say, in Tokyo, known as Shinto Taito. In 2020, 19-year-old Minato Sahashi is extremely intelligent, yet due to his major lack of self-confidence, has failed the college entrance exam twice. One day, Minato meets a girl named Masubi, who literally falls out of the sky on top of him. Minato soon learns that she is a Sekai, and she chooses him as her Ashikabi. One of the mysterious set of humans that have the genetic trait and can make a contract by kissing the Sekai. This binds the Sekai to the Ashikabi and allows them to use their full power in elimination battles with other Sekai. Made up of 108 cute girls, attractive books and women, and Bishonen, the Sekai fight in a competition known as the Sekai Plan, organized by Hiroto Manaka, the chairman and founder of the mysterious and powerful MBI Corporation. Minato quickly learns that being a partner of a Sekai is not all fun and games, especially when 5 other Sekai choose him as their Ashikabi, each also forming a contract with him. Now Minato must find a way to survive both the life-threatening battles of the Sekai Plan and his partner's fierce competition for him. And one of them is a guy who is not so willing to be a part of it. It just happens.
I never want to speak of this again. That sounds terrible.
Well, too bad, because I plan to cover it at some point. Kaz is the one warning me against it.
That sounds like a dumpster fire.
This kind of... The summary reminds me a little bit of the anime Shining Tears Crosswind, where throughout most of the series... the main character, he's able, there's people with this power to pull swords out of other people's chests, not in the same way as Utena, but and like depending on who, like he pulled like a sword out of their chest, like depending on his relationship and friendship with them, the sword would be more powerful. And he's like, to defeat like the evil country, because this is in a fantasy setting. And
I know of this one. I actually know of this one.
If like he finds like his true love, he'll have the most powerful sword of all. When he finds that person who truly loves him, and he truly loves that person, and then at the big and final climactic battle, out of desperation, he ends up like having to pull the sword out of his male best friend's chest. Mm-hmm. And he pulls out the ultimate sword, and they have this really awkward look there for a moment. It's just like, because up until that point, like neither of them had, they were just best buds, and well, that's one way to find things out.
I'll have to look into this one again. It's been a long time. I knew of this one. I never got around to it, and I knew of that. I knew of that moment.
Oh god, it's great. It's fantastic. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's a pretty normal series up until, that point where you just have, the best buds, and then, all the other people who travel with them. But that was a good moment, even if, they didn't really give you any warning beforehand. It was fantastic.
Mhm.
Because they just look at each other and they blush.
Oh man, that reminds me of one of my favorite moments from Love Stage, which is one of the ones I was thinking about putting on my list. This one's fantastic. So this guy who is part of like an acting family, like his both his parents are into acting, and so I think his brother is also like partly like a rock star or something, and he's the youngest one, but he really wants to be a manga artist, but he can't draw like at all.
Yes. Yes, I know. Yes, this.
And when he was a little boy, they were filming for this commercial. His parents were, and the little girl in the commercial was not available that day, so they just put this little boy in a dress because it's like, oh, he's super cute. And then the little boy that he was supposed to act off of in the commercial winds up falling in love with him at a really, really young age. He has no idea that it was a little boy in a dress. And then like 10 years later, they go to redo the commercial as if like, oh, it's a 10-year anniversary of this particular, like, I think it was a perfume they were hawking. And it's a 10-year anniversary so of that commercial. So they did it where it's like, oh, and the little kids who met at that wedding, now they're getting married, and the original couple is attending the wedding, and all this stuff. And he's just like, what? You want me to come back for this commercial? Ah, no, you're not putting me in a dress again. And meanwhile, the other little boy who was like, now he's all grown up too. And he's just like, oh my God, I'm finally going to get to meet my dream girl. It's been so long. Why did I never get her name? Oh, I just remember her beautiful eyes and her wonderful smile. I've just been like in love since I was a child. I just want to meet the love of my life again. And then finding out it was a boy in a dress.
Yep.
Just the... What? And it's like, look, I wasn't trying to trick you, okay? They were desperate. They needed to film. My mom made me do it. And now my family's making me do it again because it's the anniversary. No one has the same look as you. You're still pretty. Blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, it's like he wanted nothing to do with it. He just wants to be a manga artist and, be able to draw, and he sucks at it. But still, even after all of that goes down and he's like, oh God, it was a boy in a dress. It was a boy in a dress. He still can't stop thinking about him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, maybe I have the potential for this sort of thing. Does he even like me, though? I don't know. It's an adorable series. Love Stage is amazing. Watch it.
Yeah, I'll probably have to check it out. That was another one Anime America brought up and recommended.
So speaking of other adorable interactions, I do have to bring up Tokyo Babylon, because the interactions between Subaru and Seishiro, they're so cute. And gosh, like Subaru's sisters is like totally shipping them together and being super obvious about it and jokingly calling Seishiro like, oh, her brother-in-law. And poor Subaru, he just it's like flaily blush like every time, like, because Seishiro will randomly, say like, Subaru, do you find me sexy?
Wow.
And then like when Subaru like flails and goes like, ah, and he'd be like, oh, I am crushed again.
Yeah, I mean, I could bring up a few couples. Like, of course, the most obvious one I grew up with in my first experience would be from Sailor Moon.
Oh, yeah.
A slightly less obvious one, but should be obvious. Is obvious to those who know the series. Cardcaptor Sakura.
I only wish those two got more screen time.
I wish
mean,
they did too, honestly. There's others peppered around, but
Well, to be fair, when it comes to Tokyo Babylon and Cardcaptor Sakura, both are Clamp.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of gay in Clamp.
yeah,
There is.
yeah,
There
really
is.
is.
They were one of the big forefront pushers in that whole, we're going to have gay characters and treat it like it's normal thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, they also, especially with a lot of the supporting characters, they will imply a lot of things, but not, explicitly put things in there. And they weave in so much ambiguity into everything. I mean, to be fair, there are ones that actually are kind of, they actually do like outright and say like, no, these characters actually do love each other. But I mean, it's also Clamp, and things never run smoothly for everyone, especially, certain series with their plot twists. And I'm not going to spoil that to anyone because everyone needs to experience that for themselves.
Yes. So, on to another classic. Can we say Gravitation, anybody?
Again, I know of Gravitation. Never checked it out myself, but I know of that.
That series has really good music. So if you like soundtracks, go ahead. I mean, has some music that will keep you, alert on really long car drives because it jams.
The thing with Gravitation is like, I remember when everybody was absolutely losing their shit about people being overhyped for Yuri on Ice, which I still maintain is a good gay anime. It's not perfect, but then again, no gay anime is perfect. But I'm just like, guys, do none of you have older sisters that were into Gravitation? You think the Yuri on Ice fan base is rabid.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. You could not, like, once like someone started talking to you about Gravitation, everyone would start talking about it, and then there was no escape.
The only thing worse than Gravitation fans back in the day were fake fans.
Oh, that too. I loved Fake though. Fake
is amazing, but for some reason they wound up just having like the worst fan bases.
Well, I mean, Gravitation has like prettier character designs, whereas Fake has more realistic character designs. And even without the romance element, Fake has such a good plot. That is if you haven't read Fake, go read it. I mean,
it has an anime. The anime is good, but really it's best read in manga form.
It is. I mean, it does have some, vintage character designs, but I mean, it's a little bit more on the realistic side. I mean, you can actually believe that, both of these characters are detectives.
Yes. And so, yeah, Gravitation is freaking awesome. It's just like, dude, my band, it's amazing. Oh my god, I fall in love with this guy. He's a writer. He's a tough nut to crack. I will crack that nut. God damn it. I think the reason why people love Gravitation so much is because it's one of those instances in which the uke is actually the pursuer of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of set it apart from a lot of, your paint by numbers ones.
Yeah, because usually it's like you got the semeis, they're the one who's chasing after the uke is usually oblivious, and all of this nonsense, and then it gives off these like kind of stalkery, rapey vibes quite often because of the genre. being the way it used to be. But Gravitation was the first one that really came out and said, no, this Uke, who's literally the sweetest crackhead you will ever meet in your life, just winds up obsessed with this writer guy. Is like, I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you. No, you're not. I'm in love with you. No, you're not. You're in love with you. I'm not in love with you. But I'm still so in love with you. Just let me be around you. You're amazing. Oh my God, I just want to support and love everything you do. Leave me alone.
Yes, the series does have the trope of love at first sight, and it uses it for comedic effect.
Oh, amazing comedic effect.
Although I have like run into other fans of the series who point out that there is a lot of things messed up about how the relationship is portrayed. Mm-hmm. And I actually got into a debate with another girl at Anime Club. She's like, no, that is the most messed up relationship in anime. And I'm like, oh, really? Let me show you Mirage of Blaze, and let's see.
Let's see if you still hold that opinion.
Yeah, so I made her watch Mirage of Blaze, and she's like, no, you win. You win. You win. You're right.
That fucked up right there. Like, I wouldn't go so far as to say, like, Mirage of Blaze is a quote-unquote gay anime, but it does have a gay narrative that drives the story.
Well, I mean...
So it's a weird on-the-fence sort of thing for me.
Well, it's like, there is a gay relationship in it. If you can really call it a relationship, it's more of obsession. And... This is a series I'm not going to get in too much to, because I could go on about this for days and hours, and it's an amazing series, but it's a relationship that is extremely messed up, but does not claim to be healthy. None of the surrounding characters in it think that it's healthy, but I would argue that it's more messed up than the relationship between Joker and Harley Quinn.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's fucked to the max.
It's cranked to like 11, and
Well, basically, while there is toxic elements of the lead relationship in Gravitation, because it was the time, there was a lot of just toxic things within the genre we're talking about. Mm-hmm. This was one of those rare titles that not only got extremely effing popular, but got extremely effing popular by trying to break tropes and get away from the toxicity that was the norm within the genre. And so, in my opinion, Gravitation deserves to be recognized for at least attempting to break the mold and move forward with something better and different.
I think to an extent it did succeed at breaking the mold, because after Gravitation came out, you got to see more plot lines and more types of characters within the genre than there was before. And, because before Gravitation, a lot of series in the genre, whether they were yuri or yaoi, they had, certain plot lines that they followed, and they were pretty much all the same with slight variations.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get, that in almost any type of like romance genre. And then it's like, then you get one that stands out and is different. And then people go like, oh yeah, well, maybe people do want, a little bit of variety. That one's so popular over there. And then you get a bunch of, you get the copycat ones, but then you also get, ones with slightly different plots, ones that have, both plot and romance, ones that are more than just smut. Mm. And I think like Gravitation was one of those series to help like push the genre into doing different things, even though like the story itself may have had, various problems or, problematic elements.
Yeah. Although, can I just say the final series I'm thinking of is just probably gonna make me look really bad right now because of the one reason I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, class president. Just because the boys are hot. I love the character designs.
Oh.
A
Well,
lot.
unless we have more to talk about, I'd say that.
Let's talk since we talked about some of our favorites. I guess I would just like to try to bring up one thing within the genre that's just like a nope for you. Not like a list of the worst, but like the one gay series that just makes you go nope.
Monochrome Factor?
Citrus.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay.
So, Monochrome Factor, Citrus, and now your turn, Graveturtle.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's actually a toss-up of which one I hated more, was Monochrome Factor or Citrus.
That's between those two, which I'm sure there's something worse that I've blocked from my memory at some point.
Okay, I will loan you Citrus and then go Target in the Finder.
Target and Finder is really bad.
I can't believe that thing I can't believe that thing ever got an OVA. I can't believe that's the first yaoi manga I ever read. But I had to be that asshole.
Well,
I'm surprised Target and the Finder didn't put you off the genre entirely.
Well, to be fair, this was what happened. Our buddy from Anime Club, Melissa, she gave me a stack. She said, okay, here's some Shonen Ai, here's some basic yaoi, and here's, oh holy shit, hardcore edition. Those things were Iri Query, Kizuna, and Target and Finder.
Iri Query isn't hardcore.
No.
Oh,
stepping stones up to that.
Stepping stones up to that. So Iri Query, basic Shonen Ai, soft, fluffy stuff. Kizuna, more mature, more yaoi. And then, oh God, what the fuck am I thinking? Because she was trying to gauge which ones, what I would be into, because she had a massive collection of manga. And she's like, start with Iri Query and then go up to this. I was like, nah, I'm going to do it in reverse. Oh God, what am I looking at?
You should have listened to the guru.
I should have listened to the guru, but here's the funny thing about doing that. Because she gave me stepping stones, I'm like, okay, if that's like the worst, I now can work backwards and see if, like everything's okay, until you get to a certain point. The answer is yes. I found my limit with the first one I ever read. I draw the line at guns and catheters.
Oh dear God.
Well, Xeiren, at least it wasn't the traffic cone one. At least it wasn't the traffic cone.
Okay, before this episode becomes a completely different kind of episode, I think we should wrap up.
Real quick, I have to say, I think the reason I hate... So, Citrus, I think actually that I'm going to re-release that episode. I guess that fits now. But I think the reason I hate Monochrome Factor over Citrus is because Citrus is at least mercifully short.
In comparison,
yes.
But trying to watch the series was so long.
Yeah, it was the longest 12 episodes of my life.
I think the thing that makes Citrus so bad is it could have been so good.
It could have. It's
like on top of the bad there, you have what could have been.
Like, Monochrome Factor it's basically like the creators just like went to their local high school or went into kidnapped our main character, took him to town square, stripped him, slapped his ass, threw him out the car, and said, "Have fun, gay boy." And he's like, but I'm not gay. Like, don't care. You are now. That's what happened there with Monochrome Factor, because it was not going to work. It just wasn't.
You want to know what makes like a Monochrome Factor even worse?
What?
A lot of the same people who worked on the Loveless anime worked on the Monochrome Factor anime.
What? I did not need to know that.
This explains so much.
I shut up. And on that note, while I'm thoroughly annoyed.
Yes, on that note, Maraja Plays will actually get its time to shine, Grave. I think you and I will cover that. I have a plan.
I think Xeiren should be there for that too.
I have a plan, and I think I'm going to call it Love at its Worst. Because I just have to ask, where's my happy sugar life? And on that note, Xeiren, where can people find you?
Xeiren on Twitter. That's where I announce everything I'm doing. You could also find me at Xeiren ASMR on Instagram and TikTok. Also on YouTube, where I actually do ASMR content.
Excellent. Grave, where is the turtle?
I'm going into the rose gardens to get all the bad juju we ended on out of my head.
I'm going with you. Bye!
Don't fucking leave me! Ugh. And of course, you can find me here on Podbean with the Wolfstead Podcast. You can also find me over at Twitter, Wolfstead Podcast at Twitter. That's also where you can find Xeiren, because she runs that Twitter, not me. Wherever he will notify you whenever any new episode drops and what's going on with the channel. You can also find me on my own personal Twitter. It's Ten-Tailed Ookami, TentailedOokami. That's my name. Don't wear it out. And if you are feeling extra generous, head on over to our Patreon. That's Wolfston Patreon. And if you donate just $1 a month, you'll get all this good stuff at least a week in advance. All new episodes will drop a week in advance to when they drop to the public. You will also get access to exclusives, like Patreon exclusive episodes, behind the scenes, practically, which we are calling riffs or Wolfston commentary. And you can even let us know. Also, please comment on Podbean on the episodes. Tell me your thoughts. Let us know. Hey, maybe you should review this. Maybe you should review that. And we'll take your suggestions into consideration. Until next time, folks, keep watching anime. It's June, so keep watching some gay anime. Maybe read some gay manga. Whatever you want to do. Just make it gay. Good night, everybody.
Woof.
I noticed a distinct lack of Xeiren.
She went to the rose garden.
Aw.
Get out of the thorns!
Serves you right!
Anime Monday. Animation with balls. So crazy. It has to be drawn. A steaming pile of awesome. Anime Monday. Just effing watch.
"君の姿を探す」
しい色に変わるひらひら舞い落ちる恋が光るよふと振り返ったらいつも君の笑顔があるいつかそんな日々が来るのを願ってる君のことを一番近くで見ていたい止まらない大好きな気持ち今君へとまっすぐ届け
That's right, brand new Anna Monday, and it is our, well, we were supposed to do more, but shit happens. So this is our only entry right now to Pride Month of this year, but this was worth talking about, and we will get into it. With me, of course, is the lovely Graveturtle.
Hello.
And we are going to discuss Kashimashi Girl Meets Girl. This is from 2006. I actually thought it was newer, but I didn't realize that Discotek was releasing an older anime. I mean, I should have known it's Discotek. But I thought this was something newer, and the way people I had heard talk about it, I thought it was something newer, and then I started to watch it, and I realized, wait a minute, I'd heard of this. So, this is from Bandai from 2006. Let's just get the story out of the way real quick before we get into this. Because we had quite the adventure with this series. Hazumu was a shy boy who enjoyed gardening, collecting herbs, and long walks in the mountains. One day he finally worked up the courage to confess his love to Yasuna, but she rejected him. Feeling dejected, he wandered up Mount Kashimayama to the place where they first met to reconsider his feelings. After getting lost, he wished upon a shooting star which turned out to actually be a crashing alien spaceship. Although he was hit by the falling ship, Hazumu survived the crash thanks to some body reconstruction by the aliens, only they got it a little wrong. Now that he is a she, Hazumu stumbles headfirst back into his social life and relationships, only to find that the entire landscape has changed. So, yeah, this is a Yuri, romantic comedy. Where do we begin?
Well, most of the series is really good. There's a lot of ridiculous elements that just mostly kind of hang out on the sidelines, like the aliens themselves, the alien spaceship, which can turn into a lady.
Who proclaims her love for her sister brother.
Yeah, and then there's like the teacher, and they're like these like really zany comedic elements, but they mostly kind of hang around at the sidelines and don't really affect the main plot too much. And the main plot is basically a love drama. You know, you've got this love triangle with the childhood friend. You have Hazumu. You have Hazumu's initial love interest, and you know the feelings that go on between them. And that part, you know, with like Hazumu's new life, the love triangle is played, pretty straightforward. You know, those elements, they don't get zany. There's not a lot of like pervy humor in that part. Most of the zany elements just kind of hang out on the fringes, which is a good thing. You get like this really heartfelt romance story, but the drama and a lot of the heavier elements are, you know, kind of broken up with these zany side elements. And you know, not every episode even has any of these comedic elements, and if they're there, they're just there for a minute or two, and then they go away. So they don't overstay their welcome.
Oh yeah, I think we had like I want to say we did have an episode where nothing comical happened. It was actually fairly straightforward, like, oh, this is getting deep.
But I think you really do need those kind of comedic elements to kind of get a bit of relief from some of the more dramatic parts. So, in a lot of ways, this series feels a lot like Kimi no Zo.
I've heard of that one.
And so if you enjoyed Kimi no Zo, this would be a good series to kind of follow up with if you're kind of craving more of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Except, with, of course, a different age group and a different love triangle makeup.
Yeah.
But, you've got... It's like Kimi no Zo, you've got the main love triangle, all the drama that goes on with that, with, all these really dramatic elements. Here you have Hazumo going from a boy to a girl and trying to navigate, her new life as a girl. And, in Kimi no Zo, you have, like, the whole coma car crash, woke up several years later to only to find, the entire world has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So, fans of Kimi no Zo, definitely check this out. You probably won't be disappointed. Although this series does have more zany elements on the sidelines. Kimi no Zo, you have the comedy that goes on at the, one of the main characters' workplace. Here you've got aliens, spaceships,
Miss
the
Namiko,
teacher who keeps falling off of things.
Miss Namiko, age 35, has not had a single boyfriend.
And always introduces herself that way.
And then proceeds to fall off of into holes and off of buildings. Yeah.
So the comedy elements here are way more zany.
I love the teacher.
And you have frankly ridiculous elements, involved directly with the drama,
Mm-hmm.
with Yasuna and, the crazy things going on with her vision. Like, one of the dramatic elements as part of the love triangle is Yasuna can't see men.
Mm-hmm.
She sees them as these like dark shapes that move around, and she doesn't like looking at them. She avoids them. She avoids performing like her flute with like other members of like the music club because there's boys in the group as well, and her initial refusal of basically any sort of like friendship or relationship with any male figure.
Mm-hmm. It's caused tension with her father too. Like her
mm-hmm.
father still. It seems her mom definitely. She's learned to understand what's going on with her kid. It's her father who's just doesn't really know what to do.
Yeah, and this condition it's never explained in the series, as far as I know, as to why this started or anything or what caused it. The series doesn't give any indication of any sort of traumatic event or anything that caused that. And so it's...
Ever since she was born. It's what I just...
She said that, it started when she was young, but...
Yeah, that's...
She used to be able to, see her father and other male adults.
It seems... Well, I'm guessing this gotta be a manga thing, then.
Yeah,
ever since she was born, is what they try to say. It's like, she's never been able to... They've always been hazy and blurry.
Yeah, the anime said that it started when she was young.
Yeah.
Because when she's explaining it to Hazumo, she says that it first started, she couldn't, see her father, and then it was everyone. But yeah, it in a sense is kind of a zany element, but it's but just like Hazumo going from a boy to a girl, it's played like completely seriously. It's not like one of like the zany elements like the spaceship or the teacher. And it kind of comes around at the climax of the story, when her condition changes a bit. It's definitely part of the problem with like the love triangle. It's just like,
okay, you're gonna find this interesting. The anime toned her down significantly and made her a wallflower. Yasuna apparently in the manga was one of the first ones to confess to Hazumu when she transformed, like literally the day after she's become a girl. Was the one to take her on the shopping sprees and everything else that Tamari was the one doing in the anime.
Mm.
So that is a stark fucking difference. Well, manga says
and it one of the problems I had with like Yasuna in the anime, because it is a little while in the anime before you find out about her inability to see men, was like as soon as like Hazume became a girl, then like Yasuna was basically interested in her, and it felt a lot like as we were watching this, I mentioned this as well. It felt a lot like the characters who are only in love with one half of Ranma. And it's just like,
here, I sent it to you. I actually sent it. I think we actually should talk about this. Okay. Because this changes everything. This what should be a small change in the anime actually makes me hate the anime more. And yeah, spoiler, people. I'm not happy I bought this now.
It was a great series up until the last episode.
Yeah, but now I'm seeing here...
It really was.
So, in the words of the article, Yasuna's unique affliction to be unable to see males is changed from the manga to the anime. Well, in the manga, Yasuna says she has never once been able to see males completely, Hazumu being the only slight exception. Yasuna explains in the anime that she at one time was able to see males, but one day she could not see her father anymore after he got angry with her as a child. And it escalated from there to encompass all males. Wow. Gonna be honest, that's pathetic. That's literally just you got scolded once and shut down. That's messed up. Yeah, but in the manga, apparently, no, she just was never able to. And to me, the idea of her never being able to is far more interesting, because that tells me that's an affliction she was hit with at birth.
Yeah.
So there's something going on in her. My guess is the wiring isn't right, as, like, she probably has a disability, is what they're trying to say in the manga.
Although, with the, I don't know if the manga does it as well, but in the anime, when she loses her ability to see women, because people got angry at her, kind of keeps with that theme.
Yeah. See, in the manga, she merely pays very little attention to males around her, even when spoken to directly, or otherwise ignores the males completely. In the anime, Yasuna is shown at one time accidentally ignoring her father at the dinner table. The only time Yasuna is shown speaking to her father in the manga has her smiling to him. Additionally, in the 11th anime episode, Yasuna becomes unable to see females as well, though this is later rectified in episode 12. Episode 12, when Yasuna is completely healed and is able to see both males and females. So, that might not have happened in the manga, is what I'm gathering. Because... No! Oh, I bet you it didn't happen in the manga. Because that had to be, it was a driving vehicle for what we get at the end. I'm willing to bet the manga doesn't end the same way.
You're probably right.
Yeah, this... So during the day at the beach, in the manga version, Hazumu seeks out Asuta when she's being hit on by two guys and asserts that Asuta is her boyfriend. But in the anime, Asuta takes the role of Hazumu's protector and asserts that she is his girlfriend. They swapped everything! They swapped everyone's personalities and... Oh my god! Alright, time to get into the meat of this. So, if you're interested in checking this out, go ahead. I'm pretty sure it's available in places. Would I recommend picking up the Blu-ray for this? Look, I love Discotheque, but no. Not unless for some reason you really end up liking this ending. But, yeah. Spoiler time!
Well, first of all, if the premises that we've described so far sound interesting, go watch the anime. Watch it, enjoy it, love it, skip the last episode. The second last episode brings a nice, satisfying ending.
Yeah.
The last episode is half clip show and half completely ruining everything you've seen up to that point.
Well, let me clarify. The anime ends on almost ends on a good note on episode 12 because that is supposed to be the final episode of the anime. But then you get this shoehorned in bit, and then you got the OVA, which might as well just be called episode 13 and the final episode. And that's where things go horribly, horribly fucking wrong, and were just throwing us off the entire time we were watching this.
Yeah, we just finished watching it yesterday, so this is all very fresh in our minds, which is probably why we're a little bit more vehement about how terrible the ending was. But, I mean, the series up to that point, it was so cute. It was adorable. It had so much heart. When I was initially told about this series, I saw, the initial summary, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it sounds so dumb. I do not want to watch that.
It sounded dumb, but it intrigued me just enough, and that's why I picked it up.
It's like, to me, it sounded like one of, those zany series that is nothing but, either a bunch of pervy jokes or stupid jokes or just utter nonsense with barely any story to hold it together. And I've seen so many series like that. I just really don't have a lot of patience for them anymore because it's like there used to be this old joke about harem anime where it's like, you've seen one, you've seen them all. The first one you see will be the only one you like because at that point it was fresh and new. Because other than that, they're all copy-pasted. They have their sampler pack of character tropes and then a main character with no redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to certain types of, comedy or zany anime, I feel like that effect kind of holds true. And so initially, I thought this series was going to be like that. And then I accidentally watched part of it, and then I'm like, okay, no, this is better than what the summary makes it sound like. Because so much of it is played, as like a direct, romantic drama. with comedic elements on the edges.
Yeah. Well, like one of the comedic element I do want to say real quick, because we are jumping the gun a little bit. I mean, we're only like maybe 20 minutes into this review, so like there are some very interesting elements here. While the dad is a creep, there's no getting around that. He is a creep. They make it clear, and especially in a later episode, in a flashback, they always wanted a daughter. It sounds to me like having a son was not what they expected. But then they decide, well, mom was like, well, you're my child. I'm going to raise you. You're my child. Dad was still kind of moping off to the side, but was still like, okay, I'm still a good father. Fine. So when the accident happens, they're actually overjoyed. Dad goes way too far, and I absolutely love Mom for protecting Hazumu.
Yeah, and there is a later explanation that as to why the dad is always trying to take pictures, and that's like because he is a photographer. But dear Lord, he goes into Creepyville.
Oh yeah, literally like trying to get panty shots on his daughter and shit like that. It's like, dude, stop it.
Or always trying to take a bath together, and it's just like, no.
And I get it. Yeah, okay.
Hazumu is not like, 2.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah, they're still showing that, like, no, that's creepy in this respect either way. But I get it. It's a Japanese thing, family bathing, whatever. However, yeah, even the anime goes, no, Dad, you're being creepy. You're going after your teenage daughter. Stop that. Yeah, and Mom's always prepared to kick his ass, and I love it.
Now, she would just kick him
To the curb.
But anyways.
Hazumu's best friend is a really good friend.
Tamari she's so adorable. She was one of my favorite characters in this. Because
Two best friends. Then I was gonna say, I was actually talking about Asuta.
Okay, yeah, like Asuta and Tamari, they are like the most fantastic friends because like they don't treat Hazumu any different before and after the accident. It's just like, you're my friend, and that's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
You're still you regardless of your outward appearance.
Yeah. It's brief that they have some hang-ups, but they get over them pretty quickly, because they're like, no, wait, you didn't change. You just changed on the outside. And let's be honest here, we have seen this character. It's not that much of a change.
No.
It's now just firmly there now. That's all it is.
Yeah, because Hazumu's personality before and after is completely the same.
Mm-hmm.
She just has to learn. It's just like, okay, this is, she has to learn from like her, Tamari and or a little bit Yasuna. Like, okay, this is like, how women's clothing works. This is, how this works. And, so she has to learn that part, but like, Hazumu still loves gardening. Hazumu still has the same personality. At the end of the day, Hazumu is still Hazumu.
Mm-hmm.
She just had some things she needed to learn, and, that was it.
Yeah, you want to go into more detail about Tamari?
Tamari is, Hazumu's, childhood friend. They've been very close as little tiny children. They were talking about, Hazumu's like, oh, I want to marry you, Tamari, when I grow up. And they had that, childhood, promise / competition thing of, can you get across the river? And that's kind of one of those things that keeps popping up when their friendship gets a bit rocky at times. Bringing up like, oh, well, there was this childhood promise. it's kind of like one of those childhood promises you see in other animes where it's like very romanticized childhood promise. Because I've seen like I want to marry you when I grow up in like a few other anime. But in this one, it has more of an impact because of the love triangle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fucking... Okay. We still have one more character to talk about before we get into this, so I do want to give one last mention. Ayuki Mari. The quiet one. Honestly a pretty good friend as well, but absolutely will not put herself out there. She is a fairly interesting character, and the more I'm reading here, I'm also finding out that the manga went further. There's stuff that the anime didn't cover, apparently.
Well, I mean, runtimes and all that.
Yeah, well, apparently there was a point where I guess Hazumu might have been deteriorating.
Yeah, the anime doesn't go into any of that.
Yeah.
I did come across that information before.
And
the anime goes. The anime might not have been. Well, the manga might not have been done, but when the anime was made, I'm not sure about that. But regardless, they did decide to go in a different direction and make the dramatic climax Yasuna's condition rather than Hazumu's.
Yeah. Because actually it was a big character moment for Ayuki. Because she actually apparently in the manga reveals, oh, by the way, Teach, yeah, I knew you were a fucking alien, dude. And everything else, and actually becomes like the human collaborator with him. Like, because she wants to observe how love works.
Oh yeah, that's something we didn't go into. The aliens hang around because they want to observe how love works, because apparently love does not work on their planet anymore. And it's mostly kind of a side thing. The aliens really are just plot devices, and they'll push the plot along here and there as needed. But it's not really... While it's important to the progression of the plot, it's really not important theme-wise.
No. But it is interesting. Okay, I've held off long enough. So... yeah, a fight happens during the love triangle. Because the other two decide... Because...
basically misunderstandings ensue.
Oh, very much, yeah.
You know, Yasuna is freaking out because a staff member at the train station that they're hanging out at, came up and talked to her to see if she was okay. And she completely flips out.
Yeah, because she still can't perceive men. So...
And even though she's had this condition for years, and occasionally, men try and talk to her at school, and she doesn't have a complete meltdown, but under this case, she had a complete meltdown, and, Hazumu has to comfort her. Mm-hmm. And, of course, this is when, Tamari shows up and goes, why are they hugging and cuddling when, Yasuna and I agreed that we were going to keep things the same and everybody was going to be friends. So, of course, Tamari feels betrayed because misunderstandings, and nobody talks about it because the plot needs to happen. Yeah. And so later, Tamari, thinking that the truce has been broken, confesses to, Hazumu, and they end up kissing.
Yep.
Which, of course, Yasuna sees because misunderstandings have to happen.
Yep. And
so everybody's yelling at each other because they're feeling betrayed. And then, like, Yasuna's like, and now I can no longer see women. Ah! And
Yeah, flat out. It starts by her like not being able to perceive Hasumu, and then it's everything, just everything, and you even see her eyes fucking glaze over.
She can still see inanimate objects, though, so... But that doesn't stop her from, like, stopping in the middle of the road later.
Yeah, no, that was like, really?
She,
Let's go to another anime.
So traumatized by the experience, she tried to escape into the isekai genre.
Yeah. But then
jokes aside, Hazumu has to finally make, her decision between, like, Tamari and Yasuna.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, Tamari and Yasuna have a conversation at one point after the whole misunderstanding thing, where Tamari basically says, I will stand back. You need Hazumu more than me.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, Hazumu basically makes that decision as well.
Mm-hmm.
After many heartfelt conversation with Tamari. And so you feel like, oh, okay, this is a a reasonable end. Maybe not the girl you were rooting for, but the story does, through that part,
Some of us
like,
teared up.
Hazumu loved, Yasuna before at the beginning of the series. Hazumu still loves Yasuna.
Yeah.
And Tamari will always be, Hazumu's best friend.
Yeah, nothing wrong.
And everybody seems happy with where they're at. And you're like, wow, okay, that was a good end. It feels all wrapped up. You understand how the characters got there.
Yeah.
Everybody has accepted things.
And then last minute.
And then episode 13 happens.
So before...
Where it says...
Well, before episode 13 happens, 12 ends on this fucking note. We have a time skip of about a month, I'd say. They're all happy together, and they're walking and holding hands, and then Yasuna steps away. And goes to say something, and then we get cut to the next episode. Because we're like, hold on, what? Because we realize, yeah, well, she's saying something else. And then it cuts, briefly shows Tamari. And their talk for a second. And I'm like, hold on, what the fuck is happening? Episode 13.
Basically takes all the emotional satisfaction of the previous episode and throws it in the trash.
Yeah. Says, yeah, that's an ending. But we don't want that ending. What if we go with this? So...
Where apparently Yasuna has dumped Hazumu.
Yep.
Because she says, I need to learn to stand on my own. Which...
That'd be a great sentiment if we hadn't already gone through all this at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, the previous thing is like, okay, no, Yasuna needs, Hazumu. It needs, that feeling of love in order to be to see other people. And the series has spent so much time convincing you that love is the only cure for her condition.
Yeah.
And the whole, I need to learn to stand on my own while in isolation is an admirable sentiment.
It'd be good in any other anime.
It doesn't make sense for her to dump Hazumu.
Mm-mm.
If it's, oh, I love you, I care about you, but I need to learn to do things on my own as well. After everything they've been through, I could see that making sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're still together, but she's trying to learn how to function on her own.
Yeah.
That would have made sense for the emotional journey that had been built up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than dropping Hazumu like a rock.
Yeah.
And
not just dropping him. Or her, sorry. Not just dropping her. But saying, go back to Tamari. Literally telling her, we all know Tamari cares more about you. Cares about you. You should be with her. Go be with her. After everything we've been through. After Tamari had even let Hazumu go. They're like, nah, this is where you need to be. So, of course, Hazumu, not knowing what the fuck to do, goes back to Tamari and tells her, which we don't see that whole conversation, but we definitely could guess. It's like, yeah, so, turns out I was going after a crazy girl.
Hazumu wouldn't say it like that.
No, would be far nicer, but this is how I would be at the end. I just went after a crazy girl for about 12 episodes of my life, and I don't quite know how to process this. She says I should go back to you. Do you still love me?
Well, the thing is, like...
And she walks away!
in like, the episodes leading up to, like, episode 12, you know, there was, like, the whole thing about, like, the vision.
Mm-hmm.
And it spent so much time trying to convince you that like Hazumu's decision, everyone else's decision, wasn't just because of Yasuna's vision. You know, it's just like the decision was not made just because of her sight.
It's genuine care. It's genuine love. It was like,
and then this episode comes. It's just like, nah, it was all about the sight.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
And so she's all, like, happy, like, la-di-da-di-da, like, trying to still be friends with Hazumu, which, first of all, no. No. After all of that, a reasonable person would distance from someone like that. But Hazumu is not allowed to be reasonable. Hazumu is instead gets admonished for not getting with Tamari. So Tamari had flat out said, how can you say this shit to me after everything we've just done? And rightfully walks away. And is now ignoring Hazumu. So, apparently, all of this happened in, like, August, would be my guess, or the beginning of September. 4 months later, turns out this is a Christmas special.
Yeah, this last episode is just all over the place. Like, seriously. So the whole time, all of us who were watching it is just like, we were all just like, what is going on? Because the structure of the episode is all over the place. What's happening with the story is all over the place, with all these sudden changes happening left and right. And it's just like, wow.
And
it's just this complete abrupt, like, tone shift, storytelling shift, feeling shift. It's just like, I don't know, was this episode written by committee? It kind of feels all over.
It has to have. Like, I feel so bad for Tamari. Because after all of this, turns out her friends are fucking nut jobs. I feel so bad for Hazumu. Because she's essentially getting thrown back and forth emotionally and almost physically. And then being told, hey, come on. Like, I know you didn't get the girl you want, but go for the other girl you want. You're meant to be. It's what's supposed to happen. Blah, 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 blah. Like,
especially like with their other friends basically abducting Tamari and shoving like her next to Hazumu.
Yeah.
Like they go to her house dressed as Santa and a reindeer,
yeah,
and drag her over to Hazumu, and basically like essentially shove them together and say like, "Wow, you're together now."
Yeah, like the entire time, one of the aspects of this whole anime was that Hazumu has problems with indecision. Has always been indecisive. And now that she finally made her choice, it blows up in her face and they're like, get over it. You got the other choice. It's like, that's not what this was about.
Yeah, and it's not how all the romantic elements had been treated up to this point in the story. I mean, this is kind of the thing that you'd find in one of the entirely zany hijinks series.
Yeah, like this.
And this had not been a zany hijinks series.
And look, I made fun of this anime at one point because it has this thing for butterflies, and the butterfly at one point was this... The caterpillar and the butterfly were very, very bad 2006 CG in animation.
Oh yeah, that was a little hard to look at. It did not age well.
No, it did not. This had some... I think some of it was hand-drawn, but there was a lot of CG in this sequence in the episode. Of, like, the platform forming, everything coming from the sky. It was very CG. But it wasn't bad looking. It was all crystal and beautiful looking. But I couldn't bother looking at that very much, because I was too busy being angry over how all of this is so forced.
Yeah, and like, don't think that if you had been rooting for Tamari, like, the whole series, that this would be satisfying, that, you know, Yasuna basically, you know, drops Hazumu, and now the other two can get together, because I had been rooting for Tamari through like the whole series, and I was mad at this episode.
One of our friends was rooting for a three-way the entire time. Like,
and they were still mad at this episode.
Yeah, they were too. Yeah. Like, this is bad, and of course it's like, oh hey, it's like this wedding, and it almost sounded like the voice actresses themselves were like, what's happening? What happened in this? Like, they sounded just confused as the two characters, and they're trying to accept it, but it's like, what even? How do you think this up? How do you come to this? This ending does not work.
No, it doesn't.
This does not work at all.
Yeah, I mean, I would still recommend the series to people, but I would say do not watch episode 13. Just do not. Stop at 12.
Yeah.
Call it a day.
If you end up watching episode 13, study it. It is there to be studied and nothing more. I mean, it is jarring. It is right up there with, like, so many other anime I've seen where... And again, this is packaged as 13 episodes. But the last episode's an OVA. It was not originally aired with the show. It was like several months later. It's as jarring as several other anime I've seen where suddenly they changed complete tone and genre and everything for the OVAs. And you're like, hold on, wait a minute, what just happened? I mean, I would put this on par with my frustration levels I had after we got through the first half of Higurashi. Where suddenly we were watching the OVA seasons, and we're like, she became uncomfortably perverted, what happened? and then things that just spit in the eyes of, like, everything that happened in the show. It doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work. But, yeah, it also made me feel like I wasted my time. It legitimately made me feel like I wasted my time watching those previous 12 episodes. But, I mean, I guess I wouldn't have anything to talk about if it didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, this would just be glowing recommendations if it wasn't for that last episode.
Yeah, I was prepared, too. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a great, happy ending. I'm gonna love this. Like, blah, blah, blah. Nope. Not even close. The anime I watched afterwards had a happy ending with, like, oh, guess what? Everyone's okay. They're alive. Oh, they all graduated. Everything's cool. They're all friends now. And it actually earned it in that anime somehow. And that was an anime about an all-girls assassination classroom. This does not earn jack shit.
It's like, if like they had let Hazumu like pick Tamari at the end of episode 12, it still would have been a satisfying ending.
Oh yeah, because in the end,
sure,
it's Hazumu's choice at that point. That's the point.
Yeah. I mean, they've been building up like, oh, she has so much trouble making decisions. She can't, decide between like pink cotton candy or white cotton candy because she wants both.
Mm-hmm.
And, they are drawing all these analogies to, her two love interests. It's like, she can't decide because she loves both. And, but both is not an option because, Yasuna and Tamari would not, basically they won't do that.
They can't play nice together on that level. They want Hazumu all to themselves.
And so Hazumu has to make a choice. And like whatever like Hazumu decided, because like both girls were so sweet and they just want, Hazumu to be happy. I think, if like Yasuna had not been picked, I think she still would have been happy for them. And maybe they would have found some other way to, restore her sight, maybe through the power of friendship or something. But to have like Hazumu make a decision, basically have that decision thrown in the trash, and then another decision forced on her, that's the real problem we have with like episode 13.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it did. All that buildup of you need to make a choice, you need to decide your destiny. You have like two wonderful choices. And then basically have, Yasuna basically character assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
And, like all the growth as a character that Hazumu had that entire time thrown in the trash. And then even like Tamari's agency taken away from her by her friends who have now been character assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the core of the problem with episode 13.
Yeah, no. And I can't believe I can actually make this comparison to a fucking romance anime. But I can sum it up for anybody, my mind is now making comparisons to the voting episode of South Park. Literally the whole point is like, oh, well, I don't want to I don't want to choose. I don't want to choose. Why? But of course, in that case, it's like, why would I choose between garbage and garbage? It's like, well, it's just the right to choose. Your whole point is we want you to choose. And then finally make a choice. And then told, oh yeah, no, now your choice doesn't matter. That's essentially what just happened here. Hazumu finally learned how to make a choice for herself. and was told, oh, wait, no, your choice actually doesn't matter. It's what we decide.
Yeah, and it's not... It's almost like the series was like, okay, here's a happy ending with one girl, now here's a happy ending with another girl. But it doesn't work that way.
No.
I mean, because it didn't feel like the decision had, the conclusion had been earned. You can't just take all the build up, take the conclusion from that one, throw that conclusion in the trash, and expect the audience to be able to emotionally pick up exactly where you left off. The only way to do something like that would be like, but here's another way it could have happened, like It's like the Clue movie or something. You can do an alternate ending, but you can't do it like that.
No. This is 101 on how not to do this type of thing. You can do an alternate take on a story. Anime does it all the fucking time. This is how we get reboots. It's how we get all of this stuff. Like, you can do that. But not in this way. Because you can tell, while it's got the moniker of an OVA, it was always intended to be the ending. And
I mean, it's the same opening and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's part of that, and it's packaged as, oh, here's episode 13, and 13 is common, number for episodes.
Yeah.
It might have been aired later, but it doesn't feel like an OVA. It doesn't feel like an epilogue. It feels... It's so jarring. It just feels so shoehorned in there with, like, the genre shift, the character assassinations, the, like, basically taking the emotional journey of the series and throwing it in the trash. This
feels like bad fan fiction.
Yeah, it feels like those old fan fictions that you find where, one love interest is completely character assassinated, so the protagonist ends up with one that the author decides.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just jammed together. It feels exactly like that.
Yeah, legitimately not like oh, hey, well, how would this actually lead to it? Like, be well written of like, hey, no, this makes sense. This gradual, like, okay, no, she actually wants to be on her own because after a while of being with Hazumu, realizes that she's using Hazumu as a crutch. And she doesn't want to be like that. She really does want to stand on her own. Okay, fine. But that would be time.
Yeah, I mean, if they had done, like, a time skip of maybe, like, a year or two later.
Yeah, like, literally have it be towards the end of high school where she realizes we can't actually be together.
It's just like, or, no, we can't be together. I'm not good for you because of this. You're not good for me because of that. And then they agree to be friends. I could totally see that happening if they had taken the time to establish that.
Mm-hmm.
In a better way and not treat it like the way they did. And we know they have talented enough writers to pull something like that off. We saw them do that in the past 12 episodes.
Yeah. But I guess they all called in sick that day. And they got the janitor to run things. I don't know.
I don't think the janitor would do this badly. This had to be...
No, the janitor probably popped in and said, "The fuck you doing? How did you get in here?"
I mean, this feels like it was written by, the copy machine just randomly spitting out, scripts from other series. Going like, hey, look at all these things you have in your queue. And just like spitting them out. And then some executive just grabbed it and went, that looks good. Here you go.
Yeah. Did we write this? Maybe? I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. You'd have to have, like we said, you have to have a longer time skip. You have to actually have a time skip. I don't count a month as a time skip. And even then, it didn't even feel like a month. It felt like a week.
Because, like, with how much we saw these three characters genuinely care about each other, not just as love interests, but as friends.
Yeah.
It's not believable the way it happens.
No.
Now, we've harped on this for quite a while. At this point, if you want to see the train wreck, go see the train wreck.
Oh yeah, this helped us fill out the hour.
But just let episode 12 just sit there. Just sit there for a couple days, enjoy it, and then just go into it, episode 13, knowing that you're headed for a train wreck.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wish this hadn't have been how I started off that stream. Like, alright, I'm looking forward to all of these finales. What the fuck is this?
Everyone on the stream was so upset.
But yeah, that's our contribution. So check it out. Don't check it out, but at least check out our review of it if you're curious. So if you were listening, yeah. So with all of that said, Grave, where can I find the turtle today?
You can find me trying to fix that copy machine so something like an abomination like episode 13 never happens again.
Do you want the actual tools, or do we want to just get the sledgehammer and get this over with?
Well, I mean, I have a sledgehammer, but if you got a bigger one, I'll take it.
Oh, yeah. I'm good. I got a bigger one for that. Had some firecrackers in there, too. So we can actually have a bit of a show. Satisfying. You can, of course, find me here on Podbean with Wolfson Productions. From goofy-ass anime to the shocking horror, Wolfson Productions, your number one stop for equally nerdy reviews of nerdy media. You can also find me over on Twitter. That's Tented Ookami, TENTAILED, OOKAMI. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Also, only go over there if you're brave enough. Because I hold nothing back over on Twitter. You can also, if you're feeling extra generous, head on over to the Wolfson Patreon, where you can get access to episodes that may or may not drop to the general public, episodes that certainly will not be dropping to the general public, behind the scenes, all sorts of goodies, all that for just a measly $1 a month. Remember, folks, $1 a month goes a long, long way. And until next time, keep watching anime, keep watching good anime. There are much better things you could be watching for Pride Month. I've watched a few of them. Go watch Loveless. We've reviewed that too. Go watch Loveless. Go listen to our review of Loveless.
Woof.
どこまでも続く道ならいつかまた君に出会えるの優しさで隠す弱虫そんな顔させてごめんね Looking for that truth あれから僕は青空を探 探していた悲しみを越えて幸せになろうよまだ見えない先の世界を信じてゆこうか泣きそうな笑顔輝きにくれる約束しようこの手を離さないで未来はすぐそこ揺れ動く気持ちのわけ立ち止まり口にしてみるけど本当は決めていたんだろうこの道を歩き続ける Looking for the truth 弾む心が君のこと求めていた戸惑いの果てに抱きしめた願い僕は今この場所にいると声を枯らした安らかな笑顔どうかそのままで頑張るからその手を離さないで悲しみを越えて幸せになろうよまだ見えない先の世界